Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Wow, welcome back to the Show Me Show podcast for episode 98. I think we aren't too sure on that one, but
I think
that's what
it's
we're rolling with.
99. I think
99,
it's 99.
98 or
Yeah.
99. We're going to fall somewhere in there. So it's obviously been a long time since we have done a show of any kind, and we're just going to get right into the show. So, where
Yeah.
was the
It's been
show?
damn near
Well,
an hour. Or not an hour, a year. Yeah.
yeah,
Felt like an
damn near
hour.
an hour since we've had the last show. But so well, we could honestly talk for hours about what all has happened in terms of sports and our lives, and just how lazy we are at times. But we aren't going to, and we're just going to get right into the show, and maybe we'll talk about that sometime later. Um, but yeah, we're just gonna go right into the Cardinals, and I think I'll let Luke kind of lead the way a little bit on it. But better than we thought, I think, Luke.
Yeah, this is it's certainly an interesting time to come back because this is kind of the dead period of sports once the finals get finished in a couple of weeks here. Um, we'll just have baseball until football starts at the end of August. Um, but man, it is good to be back. It just feels right. The only thing that doesn't feel right is I don't have my microphone with me, so my audio probably will sound significantly worse than Cam's. Um, we'll get that taken care of though. But yeah, anyway, the Cardinals. Man, it's weird. This is the first like time we get to talk about them on the show because it really has been a year of up and down. The whole off season they didn't do anything. Um, and they have been very adamant about this is a rebuild. We're trying to see what the young guys have. First month was rough. We lost a lot of games, but I mean, this month of May has been awesome. This is the best Cardinal baseball I've watched since, we had Albert and Yachty in 2022. It's fun. The guys are out there. They're supporting each other every game. They're making diving plays in the field, picking each other up at the plate, coming back down runs to win games. This is something we didn't see out of the teams the last 2 years. And I mean, I'm excited. It's fun to have good baseball on again. And obviously, you're not going to win every game. Like today, we lost 8-1. Um, we lost the series, but it's been a fantastic month of May. We just hope that it can continue through June. And just throughout the whole season. So, um, I mean, it's just Brendan Donovan is playing all-star level for sure. Our pitching had a great month. Miles Mikolas is not ass, actually. It turns out that he figured out that throwing meatballs right down the middle in two strike counts is actually not a good idea to do in the big leagues. And he stopped doing that, and now he's actually pitching good, not giving up any runs. The offense has been great, just full of young guys, except for Arenado. But it's not bad to have one veteran on your team that's been around and in the org for a while. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just been. I don't know how many games you've watched, Cam, but they are
I've
certainly a much improved team.
yeah. No, they like I said, they are way better than I thought they were gonna be. Because just talking with you and Jake and uh, Lewis Pauly, some of those guys just throughout the off season, like everybody was like, we aren't doing anything. Everybody wants Mo gone. Like we're going into an absolute rebuild, so we're probably gonna suck really bad. And they've been a lot better than sucking really bad. I mean, there's a team in the National League right now that's 9-50. I mean, so it could be a lot
Yeah.
worse, historically worse actually. But I've already been to two games. One thing that I will say is about the Cardinals is that it is like a whole new era though of Cardinals.
Yeah.
Like when you go to the games, it's not like how it used to be when we would go to the games like growing up and stuff. Even when you just go to like a day game in the middle of the summer, like the crowd size is just like way depleted. It's starting to rise back up a little bit since they aren't so bad as people thought they were going to be and as bad as they were last year. The crowd sizes are starting to increase a little bit again, I think. But
Oh yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
I'm
It's
still
fun to
just
be at the
shocked by it.
ballpark again. Yeah.
Yeah, they are making
Uh,
it a watchable product, which I actually did not think that they were going to do. But they kind of remind me of the Pittsburgh Steelers a little bit. They're like, I don't know if they really know how to tank fully or rebuild fully. Maybe obviously rebuilding in baseball is a lot different than rebuilding in the NFL. Because in the NFL it's a lot more through the draft. But
yeah, almost entirely.
I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
better
in
than I thought
MLB,
it would be.
it's mostly about development, and I mean, all the guys that are, in the lineup right now are young guys that are on their, they haven't even hit, you know, to be able to get a contract yet. They're just in arbitration and renewable stuff, except for Arenado, obviously. And it's just all these guys that are, and Contreras too. Um, but yeah, the mix of those two, I mean, doing their share, driving in runs, getting on base, and the young guys are coming out. They got the slogan that they've dubbed it the Youngry Cardinals. When Victor Scott he slurred over his words, and then he's like, "Wait, actually, that we could use that." Um, so isn't that funny? A mistake can turn into something cool and unique. So yeah, I think they're just having a lot of fun. They've been doing the shout outs after every game. It's just they feel like a team again. Like the last couple of years, it just felt like guys were just going out there, going through the motions just to play. I mean, Arenado even had a quote a few weeks ago about that. He's like, it's different. Like the locker room is alive again, and like they're playing at a team. He's like, and it's for the first time in a while we come to the ballpark expecting to win instead of just hoping to win. And that's all you can ask for out of your team. Oli Marmol, great year. I've been a huge supporter of his, um, pretty much since he started. I mean, even after that one really bad year in 2023, obviously I had some doubts about him, but last year they had a much better year than what I thought, and this year, just the way he's at the top of this young group that is just dominating and just having fun. The way he's managing the bullpen is great. Giving guys days off, making sure to get through the rotations. We've had a lot of big bullpen guys step up this year. Maton, the one free agent signing, has been excellent. Um, and Kyle Leahy he was pitching like an all-star. His last couple weeks have been not quite to that level, but he's had a great year. Helsley is becoming a classic Cardinals closer now, where he just makes you sweat in the ninth inning no matter what, which I kind of like, to be honest. I mean, that we have a long history of closers that make you do that. And last year's Helsley was so dominant that I was like, I don't even recognize. I mean, the closer position is supposed to make you sweat and your heart beat. Um, so it's been a very fun year so far. I just really hope it continues. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Um,
the city's buzzing. The Blues had that awesome end of the regular season to get into the playoffs. Obviously ended in heartbreak fashion. And then the Battlehawks too they're headed to the playoffs. They got a big win yesterday or 2 days ago, I guess, over DC to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So that is
yeah.
you just hope that they can get it done this year.
Yeah. So we'll just jump right over to that, I guess. So they're once
Yeah,
again
it's a good transition.
they're in the conference title again. This year they're 8-2, um, which I think is the best in the UFL, best in the XFL, which is their side of the conference, I guess. Um, but like you just said, it goes through St. Louis because they get the guaranteed home game, um, and the championship game is in St. Louis for the second year in a row. So if they win, they are automatically in the final, and it would be at home. So uh, they play the DC Defenders at home this weekend, or I'm sorry, next weekend, um, for that conference championship game. And that's actually also who we just played in the last game of the year, which both teams, it was horrible to watch because both teams just tried to not show anything. And it was just like a classic. Let's just play our worst players and let's just see who wins that game. I think they had already clinched it, actually. I don't think DC was able to jump them even if they lost. So I
Oh,
think that's why they played every because like Duggan didn't play, their running backs didn't play. Butler still played the wide receiver, but yeah, I mean, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, me and you, when we were still at Central House. I think this is an Anthony Beck legacy game. He has to kind of win the championship this year for him to be kind of validated as a head coach and maybe get a shot somewhere else if he doesn't want to stick around in the XFL or UFL. Sorry.
yeah. I mean, he's had great teams all 3 years. The Battlehawks have been in the playoffs or in like contention, like going down to the wire. But he hasn't even won a playoff game yet. So he's got some work to do. But yeah, if you bring home a chip this year, I mean, I don't know how many more years the UFL is going to be around for because of money issues, but I mean, this might be his best shot to do it. So yeah, let's see what you have. It's a legacy game. Let's get it done. I'll be excited. So
Yeah. I wish we would have went to another one of those games this year because the one that we did go to last year was so
oh,
much
it
fun.
was fun. Yeah,
That was so awesome. But I guess there's still time if they continue to win. I wonder how much tickets would be for the championship. I can't imagine they would be that expensive because even the Battlehawks, like their crowds do not even look like what they used to look like in terms of a couple of years ago when they were like selling it out like the entire lower bowl. But
yeah. There were talks about having to open up the top bowl,
yeah,
which they did. They did for the playoff game. I wonder if they'll do that this year. Probably not, but that would be cool
yeah,
if we
I
like made it to the
wouldn't think
championship
so.
and had a sellout crowd. Um, yeah, that would be pretty awesome. But I haven't watched as many games this year as I have in the past. I think there's been like two or three that I've tuned into. So um, I definitely haven't been doing my part there as a St. Louisan, but I mean the Cardinals are exciting and the NBA playoffs are on, so there's just a
Yeah,
lot of stuff to watch.
exactly. And maybe we'll jump into that real quick, and we're kind of cruising through our stuff. We didn't want this to really be that long of a show because we don't really know. We
Yeah,
messing with some new tech today in terms of recording stuff, so we don't really
yeah,
know what we're
definitely.
doing.
The
But
website that we use for recording has updated a bunch of stuff too, so it's like, oh, it's kind of we're learning a lot. We're learning a lot.
yeah, exactly. Which you can't always say about us. So yeah, um, jumping over to the NBA, like we just said. So both of the conference championships or conference finals series have wrapped up. Thunder took care of the T Wolves, and then just last night the Pacers finished off the Knicks in 6 games, and that was honestly one of my favorite conference final series I think that I've watched as a fan. Those first 3 games were just unbelievable. Um, and I think a lot of people, I've seen some posts online that people will be rooting for the Thunder over the Pacers, and I really don't agree with that. I feel like
No,
I think it's gonna be a much more even spread than people would think. And I also saw it was really cool that, especially since it's in the Midwest, and this is something that I feel like Midwestern dads would definitely do, is that for like the first time in like a while, the the NBA Finals is drivable. If you want to go to the games as an opposing fan, it's under 11 hours. Which, yeah, that's still a hell of a haul, but I mean, that is
it's
definitely
pretty much a
doable.
straight shot. Like
It is a
you
straight
just
shot
take
down the.
44 all the way to St. Louis from Oklahoma City and then get on 70 and go to Indy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So,
yeah, it is like the two closest. Well, I guess Memphis would probably be closer than Oklahoma City,
yeah,
but like two of the closest teams to us are like in the finals. Pretty
yeah,
neat.
I know. I was thinking about that too. It's like because sometimes you'll like I try to think about like which team would I become a fan of. I guess like once LeBron retires, and I always think about the Pacers, Grizzlies, or Thunder just because that would probably be our best shot to actually go and watch them. Maybe the Bulls too. They're only about I guess like what 6 hours maybe six or
Yeah, five
seven.
and a half.
Yeah, but um, it is interesting that we're kind of like smack dab in the middle of it. But uh, yeah, and then like I said, Thunder took care of the T Wolves. I think the real Western Conference Finals was really the Nuggets versus the Thunder. That went to seven, and then
Yeah,
the Nuggets just ran out of fuel in that series. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
And this is where I kind of miss that we didn't have a show for really the last year, is because really since December I have been on the take that the Thunder can't get it done. I've been preaching that like they don't have the killer instinct, they don't have the championship DNA, just stuff that the old heads talk about. I was preaching that for the Thunder, and so pretty much this whole playoff run, I've just been on the edge of my seat, just watching them have the championship DNA and be able to close it. They have struggled with it a little bit, like closing out some of the games, but um, I mean, just in this playoffs alone, it feels like they have grown as a team and they've gained a lot of confidence. And I mean, the Pacers might be able to get it done, but I kind of just see the Thunder just continue to roll. And yeah, they're young too. This is the start of a dynasty.
yeah. I mean, and one really cool thing about this series is that it's the first time in 22 years where both teams that are in the finals are under the luxury tax, which is crazy because like people always say in NBA media that, in order to win a title, you have to go over the luxury tax. And everybody that has won a title has been over the luxury tax for a really long time. And neither of these teams are going to be over the luxury tax. And neither of these teams have ever won a title in the city that they are currently in. So that is going to be awesome, too, for the
Yeah.
fans. Um,
Well,
how
Seattle never won a
sad.
title.
I think they did. I think Seattle won a title in 1979.
Interesting. I was
There we go.
thinking they did not do it.
First live show research of since we've come back.
Yep.
Let's see what's going on.
You would be correct. Supersonics beat the Washington Bullets in 5 games.
1979.
1979. Good
Look
pull.
at that.
Holy shit.
Look at that.
How about that?
Um, Another thing we were gonna talk about was Tyrese Halliburton's dad was reinstated to go to the games. Really glad that happened, um, because he just seems like one of those guys that they actually feed off a little bit because he's a little bit too crazy for his son when he's playing in the games. But I think they did move him further back, kind
Yeah,
of
I
like
think he's in like a
the
suite
Antlers
now
back
on
in
the
the day.
second
Yeah,
floor.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like,
Um,
yeah, you can come, but we got to restrict you a little bit. So, but yeah,
yeah,
it is cool because he's like a super fan that also happens to be related to one of their best players.
yeah,
Like a direct relation. So it's really cool. In both the games that he's been there, they've won. So maybe it gives him a little extra home field advantage in the finals.
yeah. That's probably what they're going to be hoping for. And you said what you think the Thunder are going to win in five.
Um, yeah, I'll say 5. I'll say Thunder in 5.
I'm really hoping it's at least six, to be honest. And that's what my gut is kind of going with here is six, um, because they are just really gritty. I feel like the Pacers are, but so
Oh
that's the
yeah,
damn problem. Is so are the Thunder. Um, the Thunder do everything just as well as the Pacers, except for maybe shooting threes and pace of play. Everything else, they're just as good as the Pacers, if not better, which doesn't really line up well for the Pacers, but you never know. It's the NBA. So,
yeah.
I mean, this
That's
is a
why you play the
finals.
games.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was an Eastern Conference Finals that I never would have expected. So, I mean, that just goes to show about the NBA. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
How
another,
many people had
yeah,
the Pacers?
Yeah,
going into the finals,
exactly.
just at the beginning of the playoffs. So, I mean, they
Yeah,
beat the Cavs, they beat the Knicks when they were not favored to win. So, yeah, I guess we'll see. But it's going to be cool to see the best offense, like the highest scoring offense in the league, going up against the best defense in the Thunder. Um, just to see how those two clash. Which one? Usually defense wins out in that scenario, but um, I feel like it'll be a game to game basis.
yeah. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. That's for
Yeah.
sure. I'm gonna go with Thunder in 6. You got Thunder in 5. Um, we'll we'll try to stick to that. I saw Dalen Cardinal. He said he's got Thunder in 5 as well, but he also had Thunder in 5 against the Nuggets, and that was
Hmm.
7. But then he also had Thunder in 5 against the T Wolves. So he said he's batting 500. So good for him, I
Okay.
guess.
Yeah. And the Thunder still beat the Nuggets, so it was just a few games off,
Yeah, few
really.
games.
So, but
No,
yeah, that was probably the best series of these play. I mean, the Eastern Conference Finals were great, but I mean, the Nuggets going against the Thunder, that was just a phenomenal series, so competitive, and I mean, both teams gave it everything they had, and I just remember watching that game 7 in the second half as the Thunder just slowly kept pulling away, got up to like 30-point lead. It was like, this is it. They're going to win the title. This was their game that they had to win, and everything lined up for them after that.
yeah.
So
Watch, and I think obviously I think this Pacers team is a lot better than that Heat team that the Nuggets beat a few years back. But remember when we were watching that Nuggets versus Lakers series, Western Conference Finals? It was like, man, whoever wins this is probably just gonna win it all. When we were watching that series, and sure enough, the Nuggets took care of business against the Heat. But that's kind of how it felt watching that series too. What Nuggets Thunder is, whoever wins this is probably gonna win it all. Um,
yeah,
but but
yeah.
like you
No,
said,
it
it's the
was it was
NBA.
pretty cool. So
Um, one thing I wanted to throw in here
hmm
was that the Trailblazers, I think their owner just sold their team, right? Or they're selling the team, and so it looks like they're going to be on the move,
yeah,
possibly moving. Couple possible destinations look like Las Vegas, probably the big one. But then after that, I mean, it's kind of open season. So who knows? Maybe Missouri could fall into that somehow. What do you think? Do you think there's any snowball's chance in hell that that could happen?
I think there is a snowball's chance in hell. But it's a snowball's chance in hell. It's not a very high percentage chance. I really don't think they're going to move. If they do move, it'll be Vegas. I think just because that's the hot spot right now for sports and really everything. That's just the fastest growing city in the country. Um, but I think Kansas City would get it over St. Louis if I had to guess. That's what I would say. But
Yeah, that would kind of suck ass though too. I feel like because I feel like St. Louis is a bigger basketball city than Kansas City, um,
yeah,
but they've also
I'd
really
agree with that.
supported the Chiefs really well. But I mean, hell, if the Rams were, I mean, that's how people supported the Rams when the greatest show on turf was here. So I don't know what metrics they look at in terms of moving a team, like that kind of stuff. But I mean, even if
Yeah.
they did move to Kansas City, I would cheer for them. I think. You think you would
Yeah,
cheer
I
for
would
them?
too.
I think I would.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's a Missouri team and St. Louis doesn't have one, so I think I
yeah,
would. I really wish that Phil Knight would just buy him and keep him in Portland, but I don't know if that'll happen. I don't know if he really wants to do. I think he's focused on the NIL of Oregon right now,
yeah, but that
which makes sense.
yeah, no, you're absolutely right. He wants to see a championship before he dies, but I think NIL is a lot cheaper than a professional NBA team,
Oh
to be
yeah.
quite
Yeah.
honest. But
100%.
I feel like his NIL is kind of just chump change for him, to be honest. But that's why he just what he said. There's like no limit on it. I don't think for Oregon, but
Yeah. Yeah, because he wants him to win a title because I mean, that's his darling his whole life. So
And then just a couple more pointers here. Big offseason ahead. Giannis probably leaving Milwaukee. Uh, Couple key spots that we could be looking at here are honestly the Oklahoma City Thunder, which would be kind of insane. I think if they did
uh,
that, that would be the start of a crazy dynasty. But
I don't know if they win a title. I don't know if you want to break up your team.
I don't think they'd have
I
to break
I
it
think
up just yet, though.
yeah, but you would have to trade one of your like star young players. You couldn't just get away with picks. I don't think.
Yes, you are
So
correct
that might be
about
like a
that.
Chet or something like that, which Giannis would be an upgrade to Chet. But if he just wins a title with the
I
team,
don't know. I feel like I could see like a Jalen Williams and picks, and maybe that
hmm,
would be enough. Because he doesn't really want to stay there, I don't think. But
in Milwaukee
yeah, I
or
don't think so.
Jay Jay will.
No, Jay Will probably would love to stay in Oklahoma City for a while
Yeah.
they've got this run going. Um, yeah, I don't know. And same with LeBron. It looks like LeBron opted into his contract, so um, I guess he's not really on the move.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be on the move. I think he's going to retire in LA,
Yeah,
which
I
isn't
think
like
this
that big
might
of a
be it
shock,
too.
but
Yeah,
I think that's kind of why he signed there because I think he planned on retiring there, and I don't even know if he planned on like playing this long, but he's still, one of the better players in the league
yeah,
at age 40, and his son who just committed to Arizona will be draft eligible next year. Maybe get the whole family on the court at one time. Three
yeah.
Jameses out there running around.
Well, that would mean he would have to play after
Two more
this
years.
upcoming year. Yeah, that would be nuts. Especially because I feel like that. I don't know if that really sets up the Lakers with, because they really would be just wasting another pick. Um, Not that I don't think Bryce can be good, but he's just a 4 star, 3 star by some accounts. I don't know if he's really going to be an NBA prospect besides the fact that his last name is James. So, um, guess we'll
Yeah,
have to see though.
kind of
And
what I'm
then
thinking too.
uh, last point here is kind of an interesting thing that we've been following the last couple of weeks. Uh, the Luka saga. Luka Doncic there. So after the Lakers got knocked out of the playoffs, and even down the stretch, he was like trying to carry the load a little bit. People were calling him really fat, kind of like Zion a couple of years ago. People were really calling Zion fat a lot because Zion was fat. Um, Luka
Still is.
was, yeah, still is respectfully. Well, maybe drop the respectfully with pending
Yeah,
allegations
yeah.
right now, but
Might have a little
Luka,
Deshaun in him.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Well,
But Luca also has been called fat a lot, and so now basically all the media does is for the whole summer is kind of just follow what he's eating and how skinny or fat he looks, and he is kind of like that fat to where he's not super fat right now, and he knows that the media is on his ass about him being fat, so he's trying to lose some weight. But it right now he's at the point where you know it's kind of just all about the angle of the camera in terms of uh, if he's going to be fat or not when the pictures come out. And so he kind of needs to get past that stage. A couple things that he has going for him, though, is that I think he's back over in Eastern Europe, and his wife is, I think, also Eastern European. And it looks like she's been posting some pictures of the food that she's making, and it does look healthier. But then you'll just see, like, unfortunately, the picture of like Luca's plate that came out the other day. There was like not a single crumb on it, which is fairly impressive. But it's not good when when you're trying to defeat the
everyone's calling
fat
you
ass
fat.
alleg. Yeah, when you're trying to defeat the fat ass allegations, it's a tough look. And and like we said, it really all comes back to the camera angles right now. That's where he's kind of at in his weight loss
Yeah.
journey. Um,
Yeah. Ryan
yeah, they really
Joseph's had
need
to
him to
deal
be
with
skinny.
that a little bit.
Yeah,
with that one
definitely.
picture in the weight room. It's like
Yeah,
sometimes the angle can get you, no
yeah,
matter who you are. So,
yeah. But yeah, that just
um,
something to monitor. I'm sure we'll come back to that at some point.
oh, I'm sure. Yeah, for sure. You want to get into a little tough scene of the week?
Yeah, definitely. I'll go first here. Uh, so I've got a couple of them. My first one, and this is an ongoing tough scene, to be quite honest with you, Luke. Uh, NBA Centil, the famous misinformation account of X, the Everything app. Everything happens on X. Um, he discovered the WNBA, and he has found some fan bases of some certain players that don't really understand X discourse yet in terms of being attacked and how brutal like NBA Twitter can be, especially when they just decide to plop on over to WNBA Twitter.
Yeah, they
And
don't
the NBA's
understand trolling, really. That's what it comes
yes,
down to. They
yeah,
don't understand trolling or rage baiting or any of the online tactics that, especially NBA Twitter, but just Twitter in general, tends to use.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And he is taking full on advantage of that, and they have no idea really what he's even doing. I think some accounts are starting to catch on, but I mean they just don't even get it. Like they don't exactly. It's basically exactly what you just said. Is they don't understand that NBA Centil is just there to troll and that's it, and to get people to retweet his posts with comments about the lie that he just spread. But like this one that I went ahead and threw in the doc, our script here. Um, the WNBA has lost nearly 95% of their Instagram followers after Caitlin Clark was ruled out for 2 weeks. And DK30, whose profile picture is some kind of candid photo of Angel Reese, reposted it and said they still got 3.3 million followers. Lol, Caitlyn fans are literally spreading lies, which I'll tell you right now, NBA Centel does not give a rat's ass about Caitlin Clark, and he is not a Caitlin Clark fan, I would say, over anybody else. But
but
he
he is spreading
does that
lies. That
work.
part was correct.
He is spreading lies, but that's just
But
kind of
he's,
what he does.
yeah.
Um,
I actually, this was a bad tweet to use because I actually went and looked at this account and they had interacted with Sentinel multiple times. So I think that it was like a double Sentinel almost. Uh,
well, I think this person has caught on now, but because I looked at that too, but at first I this was like when it kind of just happened. I don't think she had caught on yet because some of them you can actively see on X, the Everything app. It all happens on X. They're like slowly starting to catch on, and people are doing the same thing that like NBA fan accounts do, like buy into it and stuff and making it funnier to kind of spread it further. But not all of them, that is for sure. They've got a lot of work to do.
oh yeah, it's also the WNBA, which has just become really the most toxic discourse league out there now. Like
Yeah,
ever since Caitlin Clark joined, and it's gotten more popular and more viewership and more money flowing in, more fans. I think these are like fans that haven't really been fans of a league before, and so it's all new to them, and it's very funny to just watch the reports that are written, the articles, the headlines that come out. Everything is about racism in this league. Everything. If you make fun of a player like Angel Reese for sucking at making shots, it's you're a racist for doing that. Whereas, in the NBA, you have Anthony Edwards had one bad game in the Western Conference Finals, and people were doing edits of like him being a sped kid in a wheelchair, and like not really being able to talk. I've seen Osama bin Laden edits of like NBA players, but you can't even say that a player sucks in the WNBA unless you're racist. So that's kind of like the the duality of this, I guess, is that
Yeah,
if they're
definitely.
struggling with just simple hate, like just wait until the real trolls get over there and start making some crazy edits of these
Yeah,
WNBA players. So,
and
and
that's
Angel
kind of
Reese
like,
will be the first one.
oh, of course.
Yeah,
And the NBA Centil is it's basically open season for this guy. You know what I mean? This is untouched territory. I mean, this is like the Great American West. When we got here in like the 1800s, people are finally starting to settle it. That's basically NBA Centel with WNBA discourse. And like you said earlier, it was the people that used to follow this before all this like attention came upon the WNBA. Pretty niche fan group, you know what I mean? Like each city kind of has its own like niche fans. They pretty much live in the city too, and that's basically all there was. And it's not like that anymore because obviously Caitlin Clark has kind of transcended the game a little bit. Um, but yeah, it's crazy. I did not have on my bingo card that WNBA discourse was just going to be a race war on X, but it is. And
yeah,
I think it will continue to trend that way. And yeah, you're absolutely right. They haven't even seen the half of it in terms of some of the stuff that they're going to see from other troll accounts as we move forward with this league. So
yeah, yeah. It is, and I guess the good part about it all is that Sophie Cunningham got traded to the Fever, which is Caitlin Clark's team, and so she's kind of become like a little bit of a superstar in the league, despite not being like one of the top players. Uh, so that's cool for Mizzou.
yeah, and it's
One of the
also
better Mizzou athletes,
yeah for
like
sure,
ever.
and it's also cool because like if we are gonna watch a game, it's probably gonna be a game that Caitlin Clark is playing in, just because like we said, like
Yeah,
you know she is fun to watch in terms of players in the WNBA. And so now we get to watch Sophie too because she'll automatically be there. So that's kind of cool for us. Uh,
yeah. Oh yeah,
so
it
yeah.
is. It's really
And
cool.
then my next tough scene. You got anything else on that? Sorry.
Oh no, no. Go ahead.
Sorry. Um, this was kind of crazy that came out the other day. A pretty big tough scene. The SEC is thinking about leaving the NCAA, and they've been talking about this, I think, amongst their inner circle now for a couple years. And apparently, there's people in their like board meetings. They're like, "We have no idea why we're still a part of the NCAA." And I just, it's such a big mess. I feel like right now with this NIL, the NCAA has to be a lot more hands off, but they're still kind of got their hands within stuff that really pisses off, like athletic directors and stuff like that, and of course Greg Sankey. But Greg Sankey is low key kind of becoming a domestic terrorist with bringing the $500,000 fine no matter what the occasion is for rushing the field. So, um, but it is crazy that the SEC is thinking about leaving the NCAA. And what is that going to do for everything? If they leave the NCAA, Big Ten will leave, Big 12, and then the ACC, and then what? That's kind of the tough scene that it's like nobody knows what that looks like. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't even know what it looks like, but I mean, college sports is they're just in a spot right now where they're doing the right thing with NIL and the transfer portal for the most part with the transfer portal, but they just weren't prepared for any of it. And so now it's just like spinning out of control. Um, and I think they're a little afraid to put on regulations on anything right now, but it might not be a bad idea. Um, I mean, but really what it all comes down to is just money. That's if the SEC thinks they can get more money by separating and creating their own conference or league or whatever, then they're going to do that. That's what it comes down to, I think. If they can get better TV deals, or I don't even know what that would entail. Like, would they still be like eligible to play in the college playoffs, like in March Madness, or
I,
the
I
12
have no
team?
idea.
So yeah, I don't either. I don't even know what that would look like. But yeah, that would be a tough scene because that would change things probably forever,
Yeah, and
significantly.
there's been a lot of groundbreaking changes within college sports, as you just said, over the last couple of years. But um, that one, literally, I don't know what it would look like because I also think about if the SEC leaves as a whole, what about like softball and shit or like gymnastics? Like do they also leave the NCAA forever? Because you kind of go as a conference here. We just kind of saw that with all the Pac-12 schools that kind of joined the ACC and stuff. Like their softball and shit or whatever, they all play the ACC schools and stuff. So like they just moved right along with it. But I, I don't know. Like I said, that's why it's a tough scene because nobody knows what this looks like. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Anyways, my tough scene is myself, basically, which does happen on occasion. We have tough scenes. So I was supposed to be at work yesterday at 8 o'clock a.m. And when I woke up and grabbed my phone, I saw that it was 8:30. I was like, well, why didn't I like, did I not hear my alarm? Was I sleeping that good? I didn't really think I was. And I investigated a little bit, and it turns out I had set an alarm for 7 p.m. instead of a.m. Um, so yeah, I didn't get to work yesterday, so lost out on a lot of money and a big headache it's going to cause this next week. So yeah, it's just a tough scene, a little thing like that. But it's more of a tough scene that I had a preset alarm for 7 o'clock p.m. Because
yeah,
that's all I set. I don't set new alarms. I just have the ones I already like have in my system. I just click on whichever one's closest to the time I need to wake up. But apparently I had a alarm set for 7 p.m. already for whatever reason. I don't know why I would need that, but maybe I was taking
yeah.
a late nap or something. I don't know, but yeah, it was a tough scene for sure. So
Well, I feel like you've always kind of been had trouble like waking up to your alarm, but I've heard some like I think you kind of just need to implement kind of that white girl phone alarm uh, treatment, basically of just setting like 8 alarms. You gotta wake up for
yeah,
one of them, I would think. Um,
yeah.
I
But
think
in
that's
this case, I
what
would
I
have just
did.
set like 8 alarms for the PM because I didn't pick up when I was setting the alarm. I didn't pick up that it was PM. So I don't know, but yeah, that's definitely the move. I was struggling for a while to wake up, like hearing my alarm, but then I figured out in the settings there's like
Same.
you can make it louder, and it was like almost all the way as quiet as it could be, and I was like, why the hell do I have it set at this like, no wonder I can't hear it. So I moved that up, and it's been better, but I mean, you still gotta set the correct alarm.
Yeah,
I
that is
guess if I
true.
was a military time guy, that wouldn't have happened. Maybe that's what the lesson is here. I just need to switch to military time. But I've always been anti against. I think it's weird unless you're in the military, of course, um, or were in the military at some point. But I think it's weird when just regular people do it. But maybe now I'm starting to understand it a little bit. So
Just changing his ways. Yeah. Um, oh man, I had something to say about that, but I don't remember.
left you
So
speechless.
yeah. All right.
So yeah, that's my tough scene. Also, the tough scene is actually I won't get into that one. I don't want to. I changed my mind.
Gotcha.
It's been a good show. I don't really want to bring politics into this.
Yeah,
So,
that's fine. Sounds good. All right. Well, that's. I think we're just gonna cap it at that. I think we're sitting at like 40 something minutes, so I think that's
yep,
probably
about
solid
45
enough.
right now.
Yeah, we'll just fiddle with the show a little bit. Hopefully, it sounds all right. We'll try and improve it as we continue down the line, and we are going to try and continue down the line. I know that we've said that before, but we are going to try because we do like doing this. Um,
Yeah, it
we're
just
just
this
lazy as
year
hell. So
got really busy with I know this was like your hardest semester of your schooling, this past one. So I know Cam was there would be like weekends where I just wouldn't see him because he's just in the library studying and um working, going to school. It takes a lot and also like me and Cam living together this year, I feel like we also just did the podcast just without recording it countless times.
that was the big
You know, we
problem,
probably
actually. Yeah,
we probably average a podcast roughly a week. It just we didn't record it. So um
we probably did
what
3 shows a week, I would say. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. Not like a full like long show like we did sometimes, but yeah, that we did the show, it just wasn't recorded and put out. So it is good to be back in front of the camera. Just because we were so close to 100. It's like being at 97, 98 what we were. It's like, well, we got to get back in, get to 100. Can't stop right now. And
yeah,
yeah, so that's kind of what it is.
yeah. And we're gonna try and bring around some new segments. And because we are getting into the dead of summer, so there's not going to be a whole hell of a lot for us to talk about, but we do want to talk. So we're going to try and come up with some new stuff, I guess, as we move along. And yeah, so that's pretty much about it.
Yeah, that is. It's good to be back. So hopefully you will see us again very soon for maybe episode 100. I don't know. We might have to do something like big for that one. I don't know what that
Yeah,
entails, but
I think that was the original plan, but you know how the original plan went. So we might do
yeah,
something cool. We also might just continue to dick around and just do what we can. So we'll see.
yeah, exactly. And I will try to have my mic the next time too. That's another tough scene I could have said that we were going to do the podcast today and I was like, Cam, I cannot find my mic anywhere. So these headphones I do sound significantly worse. I can imagine, but hopefully this is the last time I have to use that. So
All right. Well,
anyways,
that's good. Yeah.
yeah, thank you guys for tuning in and have a great week. Here, actually, I finished with that sound. Finish. We got the soundboard going for the first
Which
time
one?
since like the
The
early
classic?
early days of the show. Yeah, yeah, the classic, the former intro of the Show Me Show. You could close
All
it
right.
out with that.
All right. We'll see you guys soon.
Oh, it stopped.